Maritime cyber attacks increased by 900% in last 3 years. AP Muller-Mars cyber attack cost them nearly 300 million. And Carnival Corporation, a British American cruise operator, recently being attacked by the cyber criminals. And as you know, just few weeks before that, IMO website got offline due to the cyber attacks. So seeing all this recent news clip, my question to you all, that can we afford not to do anything about the maritime cybersecurity? Very good evening to everybody, and I thank the moderator for the excellent introduction. I am Muhammad Obaidullah Ibn Bashir. Once again, welcome you in today's presentation on IMO Cyber 2021, what and how to comply. So here is our today's presentation agendas. First, we'll be discussing what is cyber risk management, what it is, and why it is so important. Then we'll be discussing the IMO Cyber 2021, what is it and how we are going to comply this one. Then the crew awareness issues, and then the guidelines and support that we have so that we can prepare for this requirement. And then we'll move to the question answer session. And in the question answer session, we would suggest you to put your question on the chat box as we go along with the presentation. And then at the end of the session, we'll pick up and try to answer your queries and clarify the matters as necessary. So objective of today's presentation, first thing we will try to understand the maritime cyber management and its importance, understanding IMO Cyber 2021, its importance on the shipping stakeholders, roadmap to build a solid cybersecurity resilience and compliance to IMO Cyber 2021 requirements. So what is cyber risk management? Basically, it is a process of identifying, analyzing, assessing, and communicating a cyber-related risk and mitigating it to an acceptable limit. And it is the goal is to support the safe and secure shipping, which is operationally resilient to the cyber risks. And the stakeholder should take the necessary steps to safeguard the shipping from cyber risks related digitalization, integration, automation, and the processes and the systems. So nowadays the ships are getting more connected. The crew size is going down, software and automation is increasing. As a result, we have more integrated networks on board, more integration between the ship and shore networks, widespread use of memory device, handheld data device, greater use of remote access capability, and lack of awareness in the maritime cybersecurity space that make this maritime sector more vulnerable to cyber attacks. So you are aware that we are now entering in the fourth industrial revolution. Maritime sector is moving towards the digitalization in very fast pace. Application of blockchain, big data, autonomous ship, remote monitoring, digital twin are the drivers of this digitalization. And these are making our maritime sector vulnerable to cyber risks more. So here we can see what are the vulnerabilities we have on board. It is our bridge system, cargo handling and management system, propulsion and machinery management, power control system, access control systems, passenger servicing and management system, passenger public networks, administrative and crew welfare system, and the ship and shore connections. And the weak links, for those actually the ships get attacked by, that is lack of access control to the computers and networks, low quality hardware used for constructing the networks, lack of intrusion detection, outdated and unpatched software, obsolete operating system, networks not segregated, lack of cybersecurity safety policies. So in ship, normally our AIS system, LRIT, DSC, CERT, IT system, which is connected to the internet, unsegregated networks, EGDIS, GNS, Aileron. Those are the most very critical equipment can be subjected to cyber attacks. And in the harbor is basically the IT system connected to the internet, AIS gateway, VTS, and the industrial control system. And we aware that offshore system use very sophisticated DP systems, which nowadays are connected with the shore-based network, and that can be also subjected to cyber attacks. So here I'm going to show you some of the cyber survey statistics, which is recently done by the Future Nautics, which says that 39% of the respondents are experienced with the cyber attacks in last 12 months. 44% believe that their company's cyber security is not effective. 43% company don't have the cyber security plan. 67% companies not have the cyber security plan for the ship. 50% on board not are aware of the issues related to the cyber security. 76% company don't have a dedicated person who can look after the cyber security related issues. And 42% company, they say that nowadays they are being asked by their clients regarding the cyber credential. So the nature of attacks, so basically the more attacks are with the phishing and malware. Apart from that, also theft of credential, network protocol attack, denial of services, brute force, application attack, and spear phishing. So I'm just recapping in case you are not aware of these terms, what is being used. Phishing is refers to the process of tricking the recipients in sharing the sensitive information through a third party. Malware is a generic term for a variety of malicious software which can infect the computer systems and impact on their performance. The brute force is it is basically a trial and error method by the cyber attackers to guess the login info. Spear phishing, which is very specific to the individual or organization, and they often intend to steal data for the malicious purposes. Cyber criminals may also intend to install malware on the target. So here the potential impact of the cyber attacks, 48% cases it is a data loss, 21 cases it is a financial loss, 67% cases is IT system trouble, and 4% cases is the shipborne system functionality issues. So here we can see that the attack, which is very well known to epimolar marks, caused by a malware called Notopia, 49,000 laptops being infected. All their remote printing capability was inaccessible. 1,200 applications were inaccessible. 1,000 applications were destroyed, and there is no facility was available for file sharing. For this, almost like 76 port terminals was closed around the world, which cost them $300 million. Technically, the safety control systems and procedural controls make a very catastrophic scenario very unlikely, but it is possible. The most likely scenario that we can predict is failure of a critical system, basically the engine management system or the EGDIS, leaving the ship quarantined in harbor, losing money every day. So here is the motivation behind the cyber attackers, why they aim the maritime cyber infrastructure. Basically, the first group is activist. They want to damage the reputation and disrupt the operation. Through this, they destroy the data, publish the sensitive data, media try to get the media attention, deny the access to the service or the systems. Criminals, they basically want to gain the financial gain, commercial espionage and industrial espionage. They sell the stolen data, ask ransom for the stolen data or the system operability. The opportunities, they actually just happy to get through the defense system and to break the challenge. And then comes the terrorist, which is not can be state-sponsored organization. They want to get the political gain or espionage, and they want to disrupt the economies and the critical national infrastructure. So now then, IMO Cyber 2021, Uh, it is being addressed by IMO Resolution MSC 428/98, which was adopted in 16th June 2017. That states that approved safety management system SMS should take into account the cyber risk management in accordance with the objectives and functional requirement of the ISM code. Moreover, we are aware of the ISM code, and ISM code section 1.2 states that company need to assess all the identified risk to ship, personnel, and the environment, and establish appropriate safeguards. And that's why the cyber security is a risk, a threat to the maritime sector, and we should take action about it. Moreover, IMO has published MSC FAL 1 Circular 3, which provides guidance on maritime cyber risk management, which was adopted in 5th of July 2017. The goal is to support the safe and secure shipping, which is operationally resilient to the cyber risk. And then comes the requirement, which is all parties to the SOLAS must address the cyber risk within their safety management system. And then the deadline is the deadlines of the compliance is before the January 1st, 2021, the first annual vet of the company's DOC after 1st January in 2021. And this is applicable to the owner or anyone who assumed the responsibility of the operation of the ship. So here is the timeline for IMO Cyber 2021. The first came is MSC 1 Circular 1526, which was a interim guidelines and which was issued on 1st June 2016. Then came IMO Resolution 428/98 that actually adopted in 16 June 2017, which actually requires us to include the cyber risk management in our SMS. And then IMO Circular MSC FAL 1 Circular 3, which is a guideline on the maritime cyber risk management, which is issued in 5th July 2017. And then the cyber risk to be addressed in SMS no later than the first annual DOC of the company, and which will be implemented from 1st January 2021. So for the new DOC holder, actually those who have taken the DOC after 1st January 2018, they must have already implemented the cyber management procedure in their SMS. But for the existing holders, they have to comply this requirement by the annual and renewal DOC audit after 1st January 2021. They have to demonstrate the compliance by carrying out a cyber risk assessment and include the mitigational procedure in their SMS after due review by the RO. The auditor to verify the compliance during the annual and renewal DOC audit after 1st January 2021. So there are 5 pillars on cyber risk management. So first is identify, which is basically define the personal roles and responsibilities for a cyber risk management and identify the systems, asset, data, capabilities when disrupted could risk the ship operation. Then comes protect, which is basically implement the risk control processes and measures and contingency planning to protect against the cyber event and ensure continuity of the shipping operation. Then comes detect, which is basically develop and implement activities necessary to detect a cyber event in a timely manner. Then comes respond, which is develop and implement activities and plans to restore system necessary which has disrupted due to a cyber event. And then recovery, which is to identify measures to back up and restore cyber system. So how we can build a cyber secure resilience in our systems? We follow the Pdcsr cycle, which I think you are very much familiar. Pdcsr cycle actually refer to plan, do, check, and act. On the plan, on the first stage, we identify the cyber security objectives, make an inventory of the system and the software, and execute the cyber risk assessment. And in step 2, we establish the cyber security policy, procedures, define roles and responsibilities, trainings and reporting of the incidents. And step 3, we evaluate the effectiveness of the objective, analyze the cyber incidents and events, execute the internal audits of the cyber security system. And step 4, we execute the corrective and preventing action, and we endeavor to do the continuous improvement of our system. So here is on the plan which is the first step, and which we want to do. What we have to do is basically we have to identify what we want to protect. The first comes is the IT. So IT is basically automated systems used for storing, retrieving, processing and sending the data, like our office PCs, emails, internet, IP phone, sat phone, weather PCs and PMS server. And then comes OT system, that is called operational technology, which includes device, sensors, software and associated network that monitor and control onboard system like PLCs, onboard measurement and control system, ECDIS, GPS, remote support for engines, data loggers, engine and cargo controls and dynamic position system, etc. Then there is an interface between the IT and OT, and then comes the access point like USB access point, local area network, LAN, then WLAN, Bluetooth devices, DVD, CD-ROMs, and mobile mass storage devices. So in the plan stage, we do the cyber risk assessment, which is basically the similar to the risk assessment we do on board. We have to identify the target onboard system, analyze the likelihood and the consequences of the system that could be compromised due to the cyber attacks, and determine the initial risk level. And then we suggest measures and we reduce the risk to the residual. So here is an example of a risk assessment. It is for agiports. You know that this is a propulsion system. Basically, if it fails, it can cause the ship's grounding and collision. The impact could be catastrophic. And it is very likely because there is a lot of data exchange nowadays. There is a USB port to to update the system. There is an Ethernet connection as well with the other system, and this system also require regular update. And it is almost certain that cause it the initial risk to very high. Then what we have to do? We have to put some measures, like we have to apply logical network segregation. Then we have to enforce requirements to the supplier so that they're designed and they give the long-term support. Perform drills like to carry out local maneuvering or local operation regularly, and then develop a cyber competencies, roles and responsibilities in our system. So through this, we'll lower the risks to the very low. So in the do stage, we have to define the organizational roles and responsibilities at sea and at shore, identify who could take the new role, and define the new tasks and responsibilities and communication lines. Then comes the rollout of general awareness on board and onshore, flyers, circulars, videos, e-learning, seminars. We can promote a positive cybersecurity culture by reporting the near misses and incidents, and provides a easy cyber incident reporting channels. So in the do stage, we have to take some organizational measures, which is basically having a management policy, having a password policy, dynamic password, which is basically changing the password at a regular interval, access right policy, define responsibilities at shore side and the ship side, designation of IT expert, contractor services on board, have a backup system, regularly auditing our system, inspection by the IT experts, which could be external or internal, and we have to have a PMS system for the cyber item as well. So example could be monitoring and controlling, redundancy, like for our backup chart, for our ECDIS system, we can have a nautical charts as a backup for critical sensitive areas. we can have use radar data instead of AIS data, log input instead of GPS. More is basically we have to have a redundancy, so that in case one system fails, we have another system to take over and we can proceed safely to the next port. So the technical measures, basically we can have the firewall in our systems, then antivirus software, spam filter, USB lock, not allowing the a crew to use USB in the onboard computer systems, backing up the storage system, and blocking certain types of email like EXE, VVA, SER, and so on. And then limitation of email attachment, and configuration management policy, and the separation of internal and external systems. So the measure could be like we should have a standalone solution for the crew internet, log file for the IT expert, so that they can monitor is there any intrusion, and then avoid simple cloud services where our data can be subjected to the cyber attacks, provide own updates and patch services, then unnecessary software function and plugins are to be removed and locked, and the server could be located in a restricted areas. So then comes the personal measures. It is basically the training and familiarization. That initial, when the crew join on board, we should familiarize themselves about the cyber security related matters and the behavior. And then occasionally we have to update their knowledge with the familiarization, and shore-based training also can be provided. An example of the measures could be the training which should contain the cyber behavior, monitoring and detection, and response measures, password management, poster, info materials, and so on. So we come to the check one in our Pdcsr cycle, which is the review and improve. First thing is we have to regularly review our KPIs, that is number of reported incidents, completion of training. Cyber security team should evaluate the logs, reported incidents, and intrusion detection. Then we should have a internal audits where actually every yearly our cyber system or IT system to be audited, that they are actually in line with our SMS policies. Then correct the identify vulnerabilities and regularly monitor it. And then system will be keep changing, thread will be keep changing. We have to update the systems. So now I'm going to refer that how we are actually going to include the cyber security processes in the SMS. First, we have to attempt on the policy, the existing policy that needs to be amended with the cyber security aspects and the required measures. Cyber security becomes a direct, it should become a direct concern to the management on board. And then comes the responsibility. The ultimate responsibility of cybersecurity remains with the top management, usually the head of the company IT department, and they should assist the master in conducting the shipboard task and responsibilities with regard to the cybersecurity. And then comes our compliance. Basically, it is rules, guidelines, recommendation, IMO, flag state, class, and related industries are to be identified, and essential requirements are to be included in our SMS. Our legal register for ISM system need to be amended and recreated according to the list of guidelines and recommendation that we have for the cyber systems. And then we will move to the risk assessment. So basically the risk and necessary safeguards are to be identified, which includes the hazard identification, resource identification, and the potential safeguards. Then comes our SMS system. Basically, whatever the risk assessment, the findings from the risk assessment, we have to include in the SMS. So it is certain measures are confidential, then we can include in the SSP. Then comes the master. So the ISM lists the procedure for which master should take the control, and he should ensure the cyber requirements. But company should take into account that the new cyber security task is not the sole responsibility of a captain. Then we have the office support. Basically, the master shall be given the qualified land-based support. We should include like responding to the cyber attacks, responding to the consequences of an attack, and restoring measures. Then comes qualification. The new crew members and office staff should receive familiarization in the company's SMS cybersecurity activities. Familiarization, instruction, and further training measures should be repeated as necessary. Also, SMS should contain a training qualification plan and determine the training needs. Then comes emergency. The SMS should have a section which should contain cyber security contingency plan for ship and shore office. The plan should include the response to an attack and the consequences and the restoration plan. Then comes reporting. It is basically how we report accident incidents for our normal ISM systems. Same will be applicable for the cyber systems. Incidents, accident, near miss, and other relevant occurrences are to be reported by the responsible department through ISM reporting system. But main thing is that this reports has to be assessed and it has to be analyzed, and any corrective action that has to be implemented. Then comes the PMS. This cyber system has to include in our PMS system, which may be not normal before, but it has to be included now in the PMS system. So the PMS system is like having the regular update of the software, putting patches for the software, and also regularly changing the network, which is not weak network, or try to install the networks which are type approved. Then comes our documentation. Basically, the SMS should describe the applicable requirements for any documentation, such as presentation of administrative rights on board, password management, backups, and recovery management, etc. Then comes verification. As we told earlier, basically it is internal audits on board and onshore the office to include the cyber security aspects, and will be conducted at an interval not exceeding 12 months. Then we have to regularly evaluate our SMS system, and we see that our SMS system for the cyber security is working fine. And then last is coming is our improvement. Basically, the cyber security is undergoing continuously change, and therefore one-time setup or implementation safeguard is not sufficient. The company should take into account the constant changes, identify the weaknesses, and then update the system as required. So here, basically, what we have discussed in the last slide, that ISM have different sections, like risk assessment is 1.2, compliance 1.2, policy 2.1. So these all the whatever we have discussed in the last slides are actually in line with the ISM sections, and through this implementation of that stages, actually we'll be complying the full ISM requirement. So now the cyber security also now has become a part of a classification of a vessel. All the top classes like BV, LR, DNVGL has a notation for the cyber security. First one is cyber managed class notation, which is very ideal for the in-service vessel. With this notation, owner can make sure that their IT, OT systems have been evaluated in detail, the safety procedures are in place, and the crew members and the personnel have the expertise and they are properly trained. And for the cyber secure system, that is basically applies to the new build vessel that provides the detailed and automated onboard and onshore cyber protection measures, that provides owner the additional security measures concerning automatic digital updates, procedure, and system checks. And the last one comes the cyber secure type approval. Basically, is type approval program which is flexible and certification regime that demonstrate the cyber security capabilities on board control and bridge system. So here we can see the challenges normally faced by the ship operators when implementing this cyber requirements. Basically, the main two barriers are lack of training and awareness and complexity of the system. The other barriers could be coordinating effort in the company, cost of budget, and lack of expertise and info support. So effective cybersecurity starts with a security awareness and understanding the fundamentals of or the cyber security related knowledge can make a huge difference. Security training for the shore-based personnel can be covered in IMO Circular MSA 1154, which is training and certification for the company security officers. And also IMO is now trying to update the model courses for security officer, where they are willing to include this maritime cyber risk management. And third parties also have developed number of maritime cyber security training related courses, where we can send our on board and shore-based personnel to get trained and know about the cyber security related responsibilities and how they can act. So other than the IMO requirements, there are a number of international and regional requirements also there for the cybersecurity related matters, like UCG cybersecurity profiles, EU GDPR, EU Critical Infrastructure Directive, UK Code of Practices. Moreover, cybersecurity exclusion clause is included in the insurance clause 3.8, which exclude the coverage of cybersecurity incidents. Charter requirements are also there for cybersecurity, like OCM, IMF, TEMSA, and RightShip. And IX has developed a recommendation, which is recommendation number 166, which is related to cyber risk management. So there are a number of guidelines available which can help the ship owner stakeholders to prepare for this requirement. These guidelines includes the understanding the cyber threats, risk assessment, cybersecurity controls, incident response, and recovery plans. Moreover, there are some templates also available which will help to actually develop a procedure for the cyber risk management. So that brings us close to end. So our key takeaways from today's presentation, that basically for compliance, first we have to do a risk assessment. So conduct a gap analysis, focus the cyber risk management fundamentals, like identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Then we have to include this in the SMS, develop a risk-based strategy to update the SMS and build out the cyber risk management capabilities in our organization. We have to update the SMS by integrating our cyber policies, procedures, strategies to develop a security measures into our programs. And then we have to implement the comprehensive cyber programs and capabilities to meet the IMO guidelines. And then cyber attack can lead to a revenue loss, there is a possibility of environmental damage and loss of property. And implementation of cyber risk management is required prior 1st January 2021. And we should encourage more use of type approved marine IT and OT system. And the main thing is that we have to aware our crew regarding the cyber risk and how they can go about it. And that's bring to end of my presentation. And I thank you all for your patient hearing. Now we can proceed to the question answer session. We can know any points we can clarify and we can discuss. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Ubaid Bashir, for your informative speech. Now the floor is for question and answer session. Any question you can raise, and our speaker will be able to